First of all, stop thinking that you are any less than a man. It's very easy to blame others for something that's not going right in your life. There are problems that women face, but I think there's always a way to get around it. Don't think that things come easy in life. Every path has a struggle, and there's a lot of hard work. If you want success, and if you have decided that you're going to get it, do not get affected by any guilt trip that people put you on. You have to just learn. Waves will be there in life. There are waves in the ocean. You just have to learn to dance with them. When the waves go up, you go up with them. When they go down, you just go down and stay afloat.
Annapurne Sadapurne Shankara Pranavallabe Nanaveryagya Siddhyatam Bhikshandehi cha Parvati. Today's episode of Devi, the Empowering, is all about Annapurna's nourishment. We are celebrating women who have uplifted the society through healthcare, nutrition and food education. And my guest today is someone who I have grown up inspired by, because her choice, her food palette and her kindness is what inspires me the most. So let's welcome chef and beyond, Amrita Raichand. Thank you so much for doing this, ma'am. Welcome to Pink Villa.
Thank you so much, Sheetal, and thank you so much for those beautiful words. Being called Annapurna is an honor and truly a privilege. Definitely validates all the hard work I've put in to become who I have, and it's thanks to my son that I am a chef, and I'm glad I took up this journey, because these beautiful words are all that one wants to keep doing good work in life.
Absolutely. I want to start off by telling you that we have all loved your work, from serials to ads to movies. Mahive, my elder sister's character Anjali Suri has to be my most favorite, and you are exactly like that. To hosting shows and now a celebrity chef. How has the journey been?
Believe it or not, this journey is something that I did not carve for myself. This journey is something that just happened by default. Very often I call myself a destiny's child, because literally I've gone through life in the way things have happened and the way things have presented themselves. I think the one credit that I can take is that I never complained about what was happening, and I just dhaloed in that frame or in that role, and I think that's what has got rewarded by God. I'll explain what I'm trying to say, because I have two older brothers. My father passed away when I was only 3.5 years old, so they were extra protective about me. And when I started modeling, which again happened completely by default, I got spotted during one of the shows in college. But my brothers put their foot down. He said, no modeling, because I know if you model, you will become an actor. And so no modeling. So I was like, whoops, now what do I do? Not that I had planned it. I didn't even have a portfolio. Like, things were just happening organically. So I said, okay, what's the second best thing that I can do? I just thought to myself. So the next time I went for an audition, I saw that parallelly there were auditions happening for a mother's role. So I thought to myself that maybe if I do a mother's role, my brothers will not have such a problem, because then they'll know that Bollywood patta is cut. And I went for this audition. I think it was a tea ad. I had to wear a juda, bindi, I was wearing a sari, and I just did it. I got that ad. And then when I got spotted in that particular ad by the Whirlpool guys, is when I got, that whole contract. And we all know that I've been the face for 6 years. And my brothers didn't mind it, because I was playing the role of a mother. So that's how that part happened. I just made the most of it. I said, I will be the mother, and as long as I get to act, I get to do what I want to do, and I was making lots of money. So I was like, what's the problem? And I think that's what connected with people. I think I must have probably been one of the youngest mums around. And then I got married, and my husband was a lot more open-minded. He said, dabble in things that you feel like doing. And Mahive came along, what you were saying. And that time, believe it or not, my son was only 2 years old. And I just carried him along, and I did that, I just played that part. Everything just happened so organically, till I started weaning my son off, of breast milk. And that's when I started experimenting with food and what to feed him, trying to make everything healthy, yet ensuring that he loves everything that I make for him. And that's when I got a show called Mummy Ka Magic. The moment I did that, I said, oh my God, here I get to play Amrita Raichand, the mother of Agastya Raichand, and I related to it the most. I said, okay, to hell with everything else, this is what I'm going to do, because I was actually dying to be a mother since I was 19 years old. So when I finally had a baby, for 2 years I didn't work. Then the first thing I did was that, a couple of TV stints, and then Mummy Ka Magic happened. That's when I realized that this is my true calling. And then I went to do an advanced culinary course to Singapore. Came back, worked in one of the 5-star hotels in Mumbai. I wanted to get some commercial training in food. And after that, I just was my own boss. I just wanted to do what I wanted to do at the time that I wanted to do. If I wanted to be with my baby at that time, nobody in this world could call me out of the house for an audition or, for a late night shoot, which used to happen sometimes during my acting days. So it just gave me a lot more control, and like I said, it just organically weaved into everything that I wanted. When I wanted to be the correct sister, it was going around in that phase. When I wanted to be a good wife, it was, I was doing work which kind of complemented that role. And finally, when I became a mother and I just wanted to be my son's mother all the time, I think this food space just perfectly fit the bill, and I can't be more grateful, and I can't thank God enough for having given me everything that suited my desire at that point in life. So to sum it up, the journey has been absolutely fabulous and very, very satisfying.
It's so beautiful when you say this. I had a wide smile throughout, right? But I think it's God's gift and God's plan, right? Because the way you're saying it, you've always been interested in it.
Yes.
And it just happened. And it doesn't happen with many people. They don't find their calling very soon.
Yeah.
But you have found it, and that's truly amazing.
Thank you. I think a lot of people don't pursue it also because it's not easy.
It's not easy.
Let me tell you, as an actor and now as a chef, they're poles apart.
Right.
As an actor, yes, there is a lot of hard work. You have to learn your lines. Yes, there are late nights. Yes, there is that whole internalizing. So there is hard work, don't get me wrong. But once you go, you finish and you come back, then all you have to focus on is, in making sure that you're fit for the part and stuff. But as a chef, you're constantly researching. You're constantly creating. You're always working. Like I am telling you, in the last 15 years since I have taken on the role of a professional chef, I don't think I've taken many holidays, or, even when I'm on a holiday, I'm creating something.
You told me that you were cooking in Spain.
I was cooking in Spain. That's my husband's fault. He loves bragging about me as being the chef. So he went and told all his European friends, and they all also knew me.
Right.
So they're like, Amrita, before leaving, we want an Indian meal. So I'm like, fine, but then where the hell are the Indian ingredients? So I actually came back feeling very proud of myself, because being a good cook, being a good chef is also about innovating and making do with everything that you have. And I was using literally Mexican chilies, ingredients that were just available to me. I said, okay, I have to make an Indian meal. I will make an Indian meal no matter how I have to do it. And I did it. And I made mutton curry. I made suke aloo. I made paneer, matar. I farrowed the paneer. I actually, curdled the milk and I made paneer. I made dal. I did an Indian cucumber salad. I did pulao. So it was not one thing. I did 6 things all by myself. But it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. I mean, this made me hungry now. But moving on to the most loved show, Mummy Ka Magic, right? In one of your TEDx, I remember you mentioned that it happened. You started this because you wanted to provide good, nutritious yet yummy food to your son, right? Yes. Agastya.
Yes.
And I think that you have taught people how to enjoy ghar ka khana.
Yes.
So if I have to ask you, what is the best recipe that you can suggest for making a successful life?
For making a successful life? Yes. Love. Add to that contentment. Add to that generosity. Mix it together. Cover it with a halo of prayers, ensure that you sprinkle the blessings of your parents, and I think that's a recipe for success and a happy life.
That is so sweet.
That was a good creation on the spot.
You know, I know that you come from a very conservative family, right? And then you went on to do ads, serials, and things like that. I want to ask you, how did you achieve all your dreams by overcoming these challenges? And you had to break a lot of barriers, right? So how did that happen?
Frankly, I didn't break the barriers. Like I said, I think God has rewarded me because I molded myself into whatever I was being offered. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. When I look back, I don't know if I had tried harder to achieve something, maybe success would have come to me sooner. But like I said, for me to be content and to have a very happy family is of paramount importance. So I think I just played along without being too greedy and wanting things too fast. So as and when things were happening, I was going along. There were hurdles of very different type. There were hurdles of competing with your own self. There were hurdles when, as a chef, you realize sometimes the disparity or the favoritism that sometimes happen towards men chef compared to female chefs. But again, that's an internal thing. I've always believed that it's very easy to blame others for something that's not going right in your life. And I have to confess, I've done it many times. I've gone through that little, feeling of why is this happening to me, or rather, why is this not happening to me? And my husband said something very beautiful, something which I always believed in, but sometimes, you also lose focus. He said, just focus on whatever is happening with you. The world will go on, people will do what they have to do, let them do what they are doing. You focus on your work. Let that feeling of whatever you're feeling not affect your present and your work. Because every moment that you're focusing on somebody else's work, or the fact that somebody else is not appreciative of your work, you're giving that much lesser time to your own work. So it's easier said than done, but I'm also a work in progress. So I'm working at it every day, and I'm trying to get and become even better and better at what I'm doing.
Yeah, the journey is quite long.
The journey is long, and there are miles to go before all of us sleep. So hurdles or not, I think you just don't consider them as hurdles. Think of them as opportunities.
True.
Think of them, my Swamiji, we follow the Chinmaya mission, and Swami Chinmayananda has this lovely line. He says, you have to just learn. Waves will be there in life. There are waves in the ocean. You just have to learn to dance with them. When the waves go up, you go up with them. When they go down, you just go down and stay afloat. Enjoy that little dance and stay afloat.
When women cook, it's considered to be very normal and chalta hai, roz ka hai. But when men cook, my God, they're applauded, they're appreciated. So do you think there's a gender attached to cooking?
There has been, no? For so many years, somehow, it's sad that only women cook. Like I said, even me, I just learned cooking and I organically cooked because, why did my brothers not learn how to cook? I mean, of course, I spent a lot of time with my mom, but I don't know, did my mother even ever call
your brother?
My brother and say, hey, dekho kaise namak dalte hain or whatever. But my mom would call me and say, beto, just look. So women have always cooked as if it's their duty. Whenever men cook, it becomes like, array. It's because they're good at it and, they're doing something different or exceptional. That's not the case, and I think a lot has changed. The very fact that I'm sitting here and you're interviewing me, that means you value a woman chef probably as much as you value a man chef. So I think things have changed, and like I said, we can keep complaining about gender and this and that, or we just embrace it and say, we bring so much more joy to somebody who's watching us, because we can smile better than men do, and we bring in some nice clothes and we bring in some nice beauty, and we just, sometimes it's a little irritating that we are very often appreciated more for the beauty than the recipes and the work. To help with it, at least we have something more than them. So I think it's fine,
I love this attitude, trust me.
Like I'm saying, I'm work in progress. Very often I say this to myself also, and there are times when I don't feel exactly like this, but we're all humans, and that's the attitude I would like to always have. But there are moments when I get weak too.
Yeah, everybody has those moments,
Yes.
And as you just mentioned, women are very naturally very nurturing, and they always want to take care of others, right? But nowadays we see that all this gyan going around saying focus on yourself first, and prioritize yourself first. Have people made you feel guilty that you're a enterprising woman, you're successful, right? And I know that you've managed your work as well as your home successfully, and you've balanced it really well. But kabhi hota hai ki you have to focus a little more on work or a little more on home, right? So have people made you feel a little guilty about it, and what's your take on that?
No, touch wood. I have such a supportive family, and I think if today you ask me what is my biggest reason for whatever little success I have achieved, is the support of my family. My husband is, he is just so supporting. In fact, when I wanted to go to Singapore for my advanced culinary course, my son, I remember, was not even 4 then, and we were walking at the club, our usual morning walks, and I was feeling very frustrated. I said, I wish I could have done this culinary course. When I was younger, I'm really enjoying what I'm doing. So he says, so what's stopping you from going for a course? I said, it's in Singapore. And in case you forgot, I have a son. So he says, in case you forgot, that son is also mine. So, I can look after after our son as well as you can. I said, then I just, I was a little taken aback. He says, listen, the family is there, mom's there. When do you want to leave? I said, as soon as possible. He said, just go, find out when is the earliest you can leave, and I want you off. I'll book your tickets, just get lost.
Wow.
And it was literally like that. And for one day also, nobody made me feel guilty. My mother-in-law looked after my son beautifully. My mother was also well then, so she used to come. So I think the support of the family has been so good. And yes, you're right. I guess everybody is not as lucky as I got. And I'm very, very grateful for that. But I also feel today's generation of women are also very headstrong. They have a problem in asking for help. So it's not necessary that the family is not supportive. Have you really taken that step and said, hey, I need help, I can't do this alone? I feel very often that's where we go wrong. Very often we don't consider our mothers-in-law as our mothers. Somehow, it's a funny story. I always laugh about this at parties, that I never cared about the kind of husband I'm going to marry. But I had a visual picture of how my father-in-law and mother-in-law are going to be. It was literally a visual, analysis, and I was sure that I will be married in a joint family. I wanted to marry in a joint family. I was very clear about that. And I said, I'm going to make sure that I marry very cultured, very educated, and very cool in-laws, because they're going to be my parents, and I'm going to treat them as parents. And believe it or not, I fight like a mad daughter at times. That's a different story. But you can only fight with people you love. I fight with my own mother also. She used to fight with me. So we fight, and we make up and whatever, but they are my parents. And the moment you have that attitude that they are my parents, then you will not shy away from asking for help. So there are problems that women face, but I think there's always a way to get around it. If you want success, and if you have decided that you're going to get it, do not get affected by any guilt trip that people put you on. Very often, what guilt trip I was put on? Oh, you live with your in-laws. Really? Don't you need any privacy? And do you need to live with them? And the same thing used to happen with my in-laws. How can you live with your in-laws? How can you live with your son and daughter-in-law? Isn't it too much? How do you manage? And it's so funny, because Sunday mornings over our tea and coffee, we chat about it. Because even today, after 20 years of touch with us being together, even today, very often we'll just get, we'll get that remark. Because people cannot accept that, you can be a happy family and live together. They don't realize the advantages. I can do everything that I do today is because of living in a situation like this. So I think you have to you have to fight your own guilt trip, and you don't need to be guilted by other people. Like when people say that, I can also, say, oh my God, really, I should have my, we have our other houses, but we rented it out, and so, but there are times where one can get swayed. But you have to be strong, and you have to know what you want and why you want what you want. And once you're clear in your head, I think it's nobody else's business.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, education is the core for any human being, right?
Totally.
And even now in some areas I feel that लड़कियों को इतना पढ़ाया नहीं जाता क्योंकि they say that लड़कियां पराई होती है, right? So what do you think about gender equality and how can we make gender equality accessible across everywhere?
लड़कियां क्यों पराई होती हैं? आई थिंक लड़कियां तो वो होती हैं जो शादी के बाद भी सबसे ज़्यादा पेरेंट्स का ध्यान रखती हैं. यू नो दे आर, तो उनको तो पराया आप बोल ही नहीं सकते हो, क्योंकि शादी के बाद में भी जाके जितना प्यार, जितना केयरिंग बेटियां अपने पेरेंट्स को देती हैं उतना तो बेटे भी नहीं देते.
True.
बट अगर पराया धन ही समझ लो उनको, तो आपके लिए पराया है, लेकिन किसी और के तो घर में जाके वो उनकी लक्ष्मी बन रही है, तो उसके लिए तो पढ़ाओ. वो उनके घर में जाएगी, उनके बिजनेस को संभालेगी, उनके घर को संभालेगी, उसके लिए भी तो एजुकेशन चाहिए. सो अगर आपने पराया धन ही सोच लिया, लेकिन है तो आपकी इज्जत उतनी बढ़ेगी. when you go, like my mother, I remember used to feel so happy when my mother-in-law used to, every time she used to meet my mother and she used to hug her and say, आपने मुझे क्या बेटी दी है, आपने मुझे संपूर्ण कर दिया है. They're both little extra dramatic, but you know, but the point is my mother used to feel so happy, you know, because she educated me, because she trained me, because she gave me the right values. She taught me how to cook, and the first thing she said, शादी करोगी तो सबसे पहले in-laws को खाना बनाना है. You know, you still have that conservative thing, but it is, why not?
Yeah.
Why should I not cook for my in-laws? They are elderly. If I can cook for my mother, why shouldn't I cook for my mother? There is nothing. कोई इसमें कोई आपकी इज्जत कम नहीं हो जाती है, इज्जत बढ़ती है. You get only blessings. She taught me, till today I touch my in-laws' feet morning and evening. तो ये कोई शर्म की बात नहीं है कि आप आप अपने इन-लॉज के लिए खाना बनाते हैं, आप उनके पैर छूते हैं या अपने पेरेंट्स के पैर छूते हैं. हमारे पंजाबियों में हम अपने पेरेंट्स के नहीं छूते, लेकिन इन-लॉज के छूते हैं. तो ये सब चीज़ कई लोग बोलते हैं अरे ये धक्यानुसी चीज़ें हैं, ये पुरानी. मेरा बेटा मॉर्निंग इवनिंग मेरे पैर छूता है, अपने दादी दादू के पैर छूता है. बट I just feel that we make too much of a big deal about it. I think it's a beautiful thing. If we keep these traditions, what are you teaching your child? To respect elders. आप वो अच्छे से बात करके भी कर सकते हो, पैर छू के भी कर सकते हो. ज़रूरी नहीं कि आपको पैर ही छू के करना है. बट ये संस्कार जो हैं, you have to teach your children and you have to teach everybody, whether it's a boy or a girl. But I, by the way, talk about gender equality, I want to add this. I've started teaching my son how to cook. I now make him make his chai, because Charlie has to get up early in the morning. I wake up. My mother used to wake up at 3:30 to give me tea, because I made horrible tea then and I make horrible tea now. I'm confessing as a celebrity chef.
Really?
I'm confessing. And if you ask my son, he'll say, Mama makes the worst tea. मेरे से अच्छी चाय बनती नहीं है, मैं बहुत बुरी चाय बनाती हूँ. I think I was spoiled. मेरी माँ ने मुझे चाय ज़िंदगी भर पिलाया, फिर मेरी अम्मा ने यहाँ पे शादी होने के बाद पिलाया. एंड अब चाय जो है वो मेरी दीदी पिलाती है अगस्त्या को. मैं उठती हूँ, सब तैयारी करती हूँ, पर चाय उसी के हाथ की चाहिए. तो मैंने कहा बेटा अब तू चाय बनाना सीख. यू नो, यू मेक टी एंड you serve tea to me as well.
Yeah.
So he knows how to make scrambled eggs. He knows how to make a few things, and he's learning. And I don't have a daughter, but even if I did, I would still teach my son as well how to cook.
That's so nice. And if you had to tell all those people who still consider, अरे मुझे कुछ अच्छा करना है, but लोग क्या कहेंगे? That fear is always there, right? What would you like to say to them?
The same thing which I said when you spoke about being made to feel guilty. Just don't listen to people. Listen to your heart. But along with listening to your heart, nowadays the generation is also such. I'm talking about today's generation because I have a growing son. He's just about to be 16, and so don't get me wrong. I'm talking in relation to what I see in today's children. Things have come very easy to them. What we have gone through in life, they are getting a lot more. Not only in terms of material happiness, they're getting so much more exposure. They know so much more. So the point I'm trying to make is that you want to follow your heart, and we always tell people to follow your heart. But don't think that things come easy in life. Every path has a struggle, and there's a lot of hard work. So one side is log kya kahenge, but one side is also working hard towards your real goal. Don't jump. I know you may feel that these two things are not connected, but they are. we say कि अरे हमने ये नहीं किया because लोग क्या कहेंगे. But nowadays generation will do one thing and say, you know, somebody they're not, it's not so exciting, and they don't think it's good enough. Let's change. Also being flippant, being flippant and being not sure of what you want to do. So forget about log kya kahenge, forget about everything else. Find what you want to do, and then don't think it's an easy way out. Then really put your hard work and heart and soul. Like I said, for me acting was easier. I was given a script, मैं करके काम आती थी. I would come back and then पैर उठा के ऐश करो, पार्टी करो, ऐश करो, घर में खाना बना. There was no work. Now I wake up at 5 in the morning, 2 hours of research, writing, working on my book also. So I work on that, I work on my recipes. I've planned what is going to happen in the day. Those 2 hours are my, that is my time to really internalize everything that I'm doing. Then my son wakes up, I make breakfast for him. I see him off. Then I go to work out with my husband. We do a good 1 hour, one and a half hour work. I shower in the club that we are at, and 10 o'clock I'm at work. 10 to 5 I work, and then I'm back home with my son. Then I make him study also. I ensure that he's around. Very often I'll make dinner also. So my point is, life's not easy, and you have to work hard to get what you want to. It's just that you complain and work hard, or you embrace it and work hard. So more than log kya kahenge, it's aap kya kahoge. You start saying the right things to yourself, and you will find success.
Yeah, absolutely. Firstly, thank you so much for being so inspiring. Everybody who's going to watch this, I'm sure they'll be like, we need to do more and more in life. That's the vibe I get from you.
Oh.
So thank you for doing that. Lastly, the theme of this episode is nurturing and sustaining communities, right? And you are a true blue example for that, just like Goddess Annapurneshwari, as I mentioned. What is that one message you want to give it to all the women out there?
First of all, stop thinking that you are any less than a man. Second of all, believe in yourself. Third, do not think you're a superwoman, because you're not. None of us are. Nobody is a superman. Nobody is a superwoman. We all need help. We are super women in our own right, but we can be that only if we surround ourselves with a real good support system. So do not be shy. It does not make you less if you ask for help, whether it's from your husband, whether it's from your father, whether it's from your father-in-law, whether it's from a friend. Just be ready to ask for help, because it's very difficult to do everything by yourself, and it's very difficult, when a fist comes together, it becomes stronger, right? Somebody can break this very easily, but to break this is very tough. So find your 5 best friends, your family, your child, your parent. Find that support system, make that fist of yours strong, and just go achieve anything that you want to in life, even if it means being the best homemaker in the world, where you run a beautiful home. Be proud of it. Whatever you do, just be proud of what you're doing.
Thank you so much, Amrita. It was lovely talking to you. Thank you.
It was such a pleasure chatting with you all. Thank you for having me here. आप सभी को नवरात्रि की ढेर सारी शुभकामनाएं. मैं हूँ शेफ अमृता रायचंद, और ये नवरात्रि स्पेशल एपिसोड आई होप आप सभी को बहुत पसंद आया. Well, do like it and share it with all your friends and family, and don't forget to subscribe to Pink Villa.
Pink Villa. Look no further.